So this Sunday, ang topic natin ay the sin that clings, and this is part of our series from our sermon series na pinamagatan nating Sin's Grip and the Savior's Grace. So this is all about our Lenten series, no? So this is from March until April. So hanggang last Sunday before Easter, which is April 20, so yung April 13, yun po yung ending ng ating series na ito, Sin's Grip and the Savior's Grace. So if you look at it, we divide the series, 3 sermons about sin and then 3 sermons about grace. And for today, we will continue to focus on this idea or concept of sin. If you were here the past few weeks, nakita nyo ang naging focus natin. We're talking about the concept of sin as a whole. We talked about if you are going to categorize it, the results of sin, which is enslavement, which is yung sermon ni Pastor Jun, the prisoner of sin, and then the magnitude of sin, which we can categorize it under yung sermon ni Pastor Oli, which is the pervasiveness of sin. And today we're going to talk about, if we're going to categorize it, as the nature of sin. Although I'm not really going to be discussing it in that detail, no, as much as I would like, kasi sobrang haba po itong time na to. Before I continue, meron ba ditong mga runners or mahilig kayong tumakbo or nagpa-participate kayo sa mga marathon? No, meron po ba? Meron ba ditong sumali dun sa binira nung nakaraang mga linggo? Meron ba? Wala. Naalala ko kasi sa usaping ito, may panahon na nangarap din ako na maging runner. No? In fact, when I was in high school, dahil yung mga pinsan ko ay nasa varsity, so pumasok sa isip ko, makapag-tryouts din kaya sa varsity. Kala mo naman, sinong atleta. Pero naisip ko, sali ako, try lang. So nag-tryout ako sa varsity team sa track and field. So obvious na nag-try ako, hindi ako pumasa. Kasi hindi naman ako ganun kabilis. So natalo ako doon. Nung natalo ako doon, well, actually before ko malamang natalo ako, na hindi ako nakapasa sa tryouts, nag-try din ako sa varsity ng chess. Ayan. So imagine niyo, may chess, may varsity. Nung nag-tryout ako sa chess, sinabi nung parang head, sabi niya, sige, pwede kang sumali dito. Sabi ko, nung nalaman ko yun na pwede na akong sumali doon, sabi ko, pero hintayin ko pa yung results nung sa track and field kasi baka pumasa din ako doon. So sabi ko, sa kakahintay ko, nagsarado na yung chess varsity, sarado na rin yung track and field. So hindi ako naging varsity nung high school. So ano yung lesson doon? Nung panahon na ko'y tumatakbo pa, o na-enjoy ko pa ng sports ng pagtakbo, naalala ko na ang sarap ng pakiramdam na magkakakuha ka ng second wind na tinatawag. Alam niyo ba yun? Yung tumatakbo ka, parang wala nang ibubuga yung dibdib mo. Tapos biglang all of a sudden, parang, huy, nabuhayan ako ulit. No? So kung naranasan niyo nung tumakbo, malamang naranasan niyo yun na parang akala mo bibigay ka na, hindi mo na kaya, and then all of a sudden, kaya mo pa pala. No? So yun yung experience ko as a runner. Again, isa sa mga pinaka-embarrassing moments sa buhay ko ay yung nag-tryout ako, hindi tryout pala, may competition kami nung high school, I think 4x400 yun, na napaka-confident ko na sabi ko gagalingan ko, and sabi ko sigurado ako mapapahanga ko yung mga tao. And then saktong-sakto, nung panahon na ako na yung tatakbo, siguro mga 100 or 200 meters pa lang, talagang ang bilis ng takbo ko. Pagdating ng 200, tigil ako. Kasi nawala yung energy ko, na-realize ko, hindi ko pala kaya tumakbo ng full force ng hanggang 400. So ang nakakahiya, by the time na umabot ako sa 300 meters, naglalakad na lang ako. So sana hindi nangyari sa inyo yan. Bakit ko ito na-share? No? Kasi yung imagery na ginamit nung author na to dito sa Hebrews, kinonect niya yung concept ng sin na related sa pagtakbo. And I believe it's important for us to appreciate why he placed sin in the context of a runner. So pag binasa natin yung text natin for today, which is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 and 2, basahin ko lang sa English Standard Version, sabi doon, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which which cling so closely, let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joys that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. So, ito yung verse natin, and we're going to look at yung understanding of sin, no? Particularly in verse 1. Kung mapapansin nyo, I placed 4 points dyan, but if you analyze it, yung first 3 points natin will be coming just from verse 1, and then the last point will be coming from verse 2. Okay, so let's look at it, no, itong passage na ito. Ang nilagay ko dyan, ang mission natin, or our mission, is to run with endurance the race set before us. Why is this important? Kasi pag tinignan lang natin yung kasalanan, no, naalala ko yung message ni Pastor Oli na sinabi niya, usually na nakikita niya doon, na when we are presented with the gospel, no, or the good news, usually we are presented first the good news and then the bad news. No? Na ito yung magandang balita, pero ito yung masamang balita, pero may magandang balita sa dulo. So when we talk about the story of the Bible, no, na pag hinati nga natin, we start with creation, and then saka tayo pupunta sa fall, and then pupunta tayo sa redemption. So ganun yung concept natin. So dito, when you talk about sin, I don't want you to just focus on sin itself. No? Kasi parang napaka-negative nga nun, na parang, sige, pag-usapan natin tungkol sa kasalanan. Let's talk about how sinful we are. Di ba? Parang medyo, ano naman yun, medyo awkward. Di ba? In fact, kung titignan natin, a lot of people today would rather not talk about sin. No? Especially if you talk about specific sins. No? Hindi tayo ganun ka-comfortable pag-usapan to. However, if you understand sin in the context of its place in our life as a believer, as a Christian, at pag tinignan natin, okay, sin understood is actually a hindrance in my desire to finish the race that is set before me, then hopefully or possibly, yung attitude natin dito magbabago. No, instead of something that we deny or we try to justify, baka we can have a proper understanding or attitude towards sin. So, sabi ko nga dyan, when you talk about sin, or our calling or our race or our life, no, as something of comparable to a run that has been set before us. So the idea is, if we are here and we're here to run a race, then it's important for us to run with a purpose. Now, why is this important? Yung concept na it is a race that is placed before us, yung ginamit na word doon, sabi doon is, as runners see the path lying before them, so Christians see the path of the faith life. Christians see the path of the faith life stretch into the future. So, ano yung gusto nating makita dito? No, if you are a Christian, if you're a believer, you are looking at your life, not just as, I have my life to live, but I have a mission, and this mission is to finish this race that I have been given. So, yun yung isang dominant na metaphor na makikita natin in the Bible. When you talk about your life is a run. Hindi lang ito literal na tumatakbo ka, but you can look at it as a marathon. No? So if life is like a race, what should be your goal? No? Sabi ni Paul, and this is something that has been used many times, especially during funerals, in 2 Timothy 4:7, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the course, I have kept the faith. So ano yung sinasabi niya dito? If I am a Christian, my goal is to finish this race. My goal is not just to participate, my goal is not just to enjoy life, but my goal is to actually finish this race that is before me. So to run the race with purpose is to run the race to win, no? Kung titignan natin yun, or finish the race that has been given to us. Sinabi na ng Bible sa atin, if you're going to run this race, run to win. No, yun yung metaphor ni Paul. Sa mga estudyante dito, sino dito nag-aaral kayo para lang pumasa? Meron ba? Meron bang, kaya ka lang pumapasok ng school kasi gusto mong pumasa at pumunta sa next level? Meron ba? O pumapasok ka lang kasi gusto mong makagraduate? Meron bang ganon? Or katulad kayo ng ibang classmate ko, bakit ka pumapasok? Kasi may allowance. So pag wala ng allowance, di ka napapasok. No? So, kung ikaw ay estudyante, if you're a student, why do you study? Is it because you have a goal to someday achieve this thing? Or you're just there kasi wala akong magawa sa buhay ko, kaya nag-aaral ako? No? In the same way, for example, kung may trabaho ka ngayon, if you're working right now, is your goal na, okay, Monday na bukas, my goal is to survive until the weekend. Ganun lang ba yung goal mo sa buhay? Di ba? Ang sabi sa atin ni Paul, at a certain point, if you're a Christian, ang goal mo talaga is dapat manalo. So whatever winning means in your context or in your situation, sabi doon, dapat yun ang goal mo sa buhay. So kung ikaw ay ang lakas kong magsalita na ito, hindi ka naman ginawa talaga nung nag-aaral ako, no? Ang goal mo dapat, nung ikaw ay estudyante, na magkaroon ka ng mataas na grade. No? Eventually, pumasok na yun sa akin, no, nung after kong mag-masters. Naging goal ko na yun, na gusto kong magkaroon ng mataas na grade. So, nadatnan ko na din. So, kayo din, mag-masters din kayo, baka pagkatapos nandun, magkaroon na kayong tamang motivation sa pag-aaral. Pero yun, sabi, magkaroon ka ng ganong grade, na ganong goal. No? So, nung time na nag-aral na ako after ng masters ko, sabi ko, Lord, gusto ko nang maging maganda yung grades ko. Talagang, I want to achieve the best score. No? Kasi, yun yung goal ko dahil sa pag-aaral. And then, of course, kung ikaw nagtatrabaho, ang goal naman ay, can you be the best in your field? Can you be the best dun sa ginagawa mo? Can you be the person na talagang hinahanap pag kailangan ng ganitong trabaho? No? Kung ganun yung magiging attitude natin. Now, of course, pag tinignan natin sa Christian life, ang challenge ay, hindi ka lang basta, alam mo yun, tumanggap sa Panginoon at pumunta sa langit, kundi, can you become the best Christian that you can be? No, meron ka ba ganung goal? Or ang tingin mo daw ba sa Christian life ay, okay, sigurado na ako may ticket papunta sa langit, hihintayin ko na lang mag-check out ako. Okay niyo yun? Hamon sa atin daw dito is, run the race to win, or at the very least, run the race to finish. Kasi unfortunately, may mga Christians, they were Christians when they were younger, but when they got older, parang okay na yan, masaya na ako, nabigay ko na yung time na yan sa Panginoon. Now is my time, no? Now it's my time to shine. Now it's my time to make myself happy. Kasi naglingkod na naman ako nung kabataan ko. So that's the first part. So the challenge is to run this race, and then to run this race with endurance, because we understand na yung takbo natin, hindi siya sprint, it's a marathon. No, ang hamon sa pagiging Kristiyano ay hindi ka lang basta maging Kristiyano sa unang bahagi ng buhay mo, kundi hanggang sa pinakahuling hininga mo, Kristiyano ka pa rin. Kumbaga yung mga bagay na pinangahawakan, pinaniniwalaan mo, pinanindigan mo, your convictions, your values, when you were younger, hanggang pagtanda mo, hanggang sa pinakahuling-huling sandali ng buhay mo, sabi mo, nandito pa rin ako, pinangahawakan ko pa rin to. Kaya nga nakakalungkot pag nakakarinig tayo ng mga tao na, alam mo yun, Christian na sila, tapos nawala pa rin, or Christian na sila, tapos ngayon hindi mo na makita sa church, or hindi mo na makita na naglilingkod sa Panginoon, kasi naging iba na yung focus nila sa buhay. And I hope no na, especially for the younger ones here, no, na talagang magkaroon ka ng attitude na, if you're serving the Lord now, no, na maging desire niyo, Lord, sana kahit na nagtatrabaho na ako, sana kahit may pamilya na ako, I'm still serving you. Hindi lang ngayon na, alam mo yun, kabataan ako, marami akong time, alam mo yun, wala kang ibang magawa sa buhay. Pwedeng kasing ganun. No? But you have this passion na sabi mo, Lord, I want to be this passionate, I want to be this committed in serving you, kahit na tumanda na ako at maging marami na akong pinagkakabalan sa buhay. So that's the context no, of why we have to face these sins, because we have this race to run. Mamaya titignan natin anong kinalaman ng kasalanan doon. So in this race, ang encouragement din sa atin, no, before we go to the problem, is we have this great cloud of witnesses na sinabi doon sa verse, na therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, ito daw yung parang magiging motivation natin, ito yung magiging encouragement natin. No? In fact, if you read Hebrews chapter 11, I believe ito yung pinapatukoy nung verse 1 no, sa chapter 12. When we look at chapter 11, we see there the list of the men and women of faith, na sabi nga, ito yung mga tao na dapat nating tularan. And then after discussing and talking about the different reasons why we should look to them, nagkaroon ng ilang mga specific na mga additional na hindi na masyadong inelaborate. Ang sabi doon, what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, of David, and Samuel, and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions. So, can you imagine, these men of God and women, they were able to accomplish a lot of great things for the Lord. At ang sabi, tularan natin sila. Let's make it our aim to be like them. Let's be encouraged for their lives na nakita nila na talagang nagsipag sila, nag-sacrifice sila, and then makikita natin na they were able to accomplish all of these things for the Lord. Yun daw yung dapat natin maging attitude. And nung inaaral ko nga ito, sabi ko, imagine niyo, no, itong binasa dito ng mga tao in chapter 11, if you're going to be honest about it, all of these people, they had their flaws. Nobody of them was really perfect. Di ba? For example, alam nyo na, di ba, kilala si Samson na malakas, tama? Pero ano yung binagsak niya? Ano naging, niya, kumbaga, failure niya? Di ba? Yes, he might have been strong, kaya lang, yun nga, he fell in love with Delilah. Then eventually, that strength was taken away from him. But he was recognized for his faith. We know, for example, of David. Alam natin, okay, sige, you were a king, di ba? You killed Goliath, you did all of these great things. Pero what did he do, di ba? He murdered one of his generals. Why? Because of a woman. But he was still commended for his faith. So ano yung point dito para sa akin? All of us here are encouraged to look at these men and women of God in the past because of their faith, knowing full well they have their own weaknesses, but still be encouraged by their lives. In the same way, pag tinignan natin yung concept nga ng surrounded by great examples, ang sabi dito is, kasi pag sinabi niyong a great cloud of witnesses, yung ibang understanding, so ganito ba yun? Parang yung lahat ng mga nauna na sa atin, nasa langit ngayon, pinapanood kung nakikinig ka sa sermon. Ganun ba yun? Parang, tignan naman tong apo ko sa pananampalataya, hindi nakikinig sa sermon. Kung ano-anong ginagawa. Ganun ba yung nangyayari ngayon? Na yung mga nauna ng mga saints sa atin? Can you imagine si Moses, si Abraham, pinapanood tayo ngayon, sinasabi, nakikinig ba talaga to? Magaling magpanggap, no? Kunyari nakikinig, pero hindi naman talaga. Can you imagine that? Pero ang sabi sa atin, hindi daw naman talaga ganun, na literally, yung mga namatay na at nauna na sa Panginoon sa atin, para daw, parang malaki daw na amphitheater na chini-cheer tayo na magpatuloy. Ang sabi, ang mas dapat daw nating tignan natin itong mga nauna sa atin, and let us be inspired by their lives. Na nakita natin, no? They were not perfect people. They were actually ordinary people like you and me. But they were able to faithfully serve God and complete the race that was set before them. At yun yung encouragement sa ating lahat. Now, so because we have this race and because we have these people who are cheering us on that they can serve as our examples, saan pumapasok ngayong kasalanan? So, eto ngayon yan. No matter how ambitious or majestic or inspiring our race, the fact is, hindi pa rin automatic na, kumbaga, you're just gonna walk to the finish line. May mga challenges. At yun na nga yung kasalanan. In the Bible, ang sabi dito sa atin, in verse 1, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, ano daw yung dapat natin gawin? Let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. So let's focus on the two parts doon. Lay aside every weight and the sin which clings so closely. Unahin natin yung lay aside every weight. Ang sabi ko dyan, lighten the load. Anong issue? Ang issue ganito. Pag inaral natin yung term na ginamit dyan for weight, it talks about something that, okay, no offense man para sa ating lahat. Yung word kasi na onkos or ogkos, anong ibig sabihin yan? It means mass, weight, heaviness, or bodily fat. Ibig sabihin, kung tumatakbo daw, magbawas ka ng mga hindi kailangan damit or magbawas ka ng timbang. Can you imagine that? Sabi ko, titino kaya tayong mga Kristiyano kung halimbawa, ang gagawin natin ay titignan, meron tayong weighing counter dito na parang, eto ang BMI mo dapat. Pag hindi ka pumasa dyan, bagsak ang Kristiyano. Kasi hindi ka makakatakbo sa takbuhing ito kung hindi ka healthy. Alam mo, iniisip ko ito minsan, parang kailangan nating dagdagan yung ating discipleship. Hindi lang siya dapat puro spiritual, na kumbaga, nag-Bible study ka o nag-small group ka, itong material. Kundi, ano bang ginagawa natin sa ibang area ng life natin na are we ensuring that we are not just spiritually fit, but we are also physically fit? No? Wala pa ako doon. So, pag-aralan po natin kung paano natin tutulungan ang ating sarili dyan. Pero ito yung kaisipan. If there is anything that is hindering us from following the Lord, it may not be sin, but if it's something that is hindering us from moving freely, from pursuing yung goal natin to be Christ-like, then ang challenge sa atin is, are you willing to lighten your load? No? Sige, sabihin mo nga sa katabi mo, are you willing to lighten your load? Sa Tagalog, gusto mo bang magbawas ng timbang? Kasi yun ang hamon daw sa atin eh. Kumbaga, ano yung mga pabigat sa buhay mo na kung marathon, kung mag-hiking ka, kung ang Christian life ay isang mahabang lakbayin, at ang dami mong baggage, excess baggage, no? Na hindi ka makapaglalakad ng maayos para sumunod sa pinapagawa sa ni Lord, handa ka bang bitawan ito? Minsan ang challenge na, kasi minsan masyado na tayo naging cute sa ating pagiging Kristiyano, ang dami na nating sinabi, okay lang yan, dagdagan mo lang ng dagdagan. Parang, di ba minsan sa mga events, sabi, ano yun? Travel lightly o magdala ng konti lang. So yung mga lalaki, sineseryoso, usually yung mga lalaki, no? Medyo to. Usually, ito lang dapat kailangan. Damit. Pwede ng side B. Pwede. Ganun, di ba? Minsan ganun. Yung mga idea. Kasi dapat daw, travel lightly or konti lang dalin mo. Tapos may makikita ka naman dyan, again, hindi ito lahat ng babae, makikita mo travel lightly pero 2, 3 yung bag. No? Parang isipin mo, paano naging travel lightly to? Di ba? Alam niyo kung bakit? Kasi may boyfriend na magbubuhat o asawang magbubuhat. Kaya pala ang lakas ng loob. So, pero ano yung hamon sa atin sa Christian life? Ang hamon sa atin daw ay, okay, dito pa lang sa area na to, kailangan nating bantayan. Are there anything in our life that is hindering us from following the Lord fully? It may not be sin. Hindi siya kasalanan, pero maaaring distraction siya. No, sabi nga, naalala ko nung nasa college, sinasabihan kami. Kasi sa mga lalaki, mahilig sa games, no? Sabi nung parang youth leader ng time na yun, sino dito would be confident na pagkatapos ng life mo, pupunta ka kay Lord at sasabihin mo, Lord, I'm proud to say, na-reach ko tong level na to. At yung equipment na meron ako ganito kaganda, tapos talagang na-level up ko yung character sa pinaka-maximum. Sino sa tingin nyo ang idea nyo ay proud na magpapahayag na gano'n sa Panginoon? And sabi ko, minsan, yung mga bagay na dapat pang enjoyment lang natin, no, para pang relax lang, naubos na yung oras natin doon, na-realize natin, teka lang, gaano ba kahalaga yung achievement na to, na kumbaga, ikaw lang naman talaga nakaka-appreciate yung mga kalaro mo lang. No? Pero pag tinignan mo sa real world, meron bang value yan kung ating titignan? Unless na nasa esports ka, no? Siguro ibang usapan yun. So yun ang challenge sa atin. It may not be a sin, but is it helping your walk with the Lord? And then number 2, which ito na nga talaga, striving against sin. Ano yung challenge with regards to sin? Sin, sabi dito, entangles. Bakit mahalaga to? Nung tinatry ko itong aralin, yung isa sa mga concept na lumabas dito is, what does entangling mean? It means sin clings so closely. May nakita na kayong magjowa na sobrang clingy nung isa? May nakita na kayong ganon? Meron. Na parang, parang pag nawala yung isa, parang nako, akala mo na mamamatay kasi parang, uy, dito ka lang. Ganon sila ka-sweet. Pero ganon ka-clingy, di ba? Ang sabi daw, imagine niyo kung meron kang ganon ka-sweet na asawa o girlfriend o boyfriend, parang ganon daw ang kasalanan. Parang matinding kumapit. Parang ayaw ka ng bitawan. So sabi ko, okay, paano natin ito i-connect sa ating buhay? Ganon daw yung kasalanan sa buhay natin. Once na yung kasalanan pumasok na sa ating buhay, hindi na natin siya mabitawan. Kasi siya yung kumakapit sa atin. So, nung inaral ko pa siya, sabi ko, okay, sige, ano kaya ang ibig sabihin nito? Kasi, yung phrasing ng verse na to, sabi, the sin that clings, closely. So, yung mga scholars, ang inaral nila, ano kaya yung sin na to? Ano kaya itong kasalanan na to? Ano kaya yung kasalanan na sobrang tindi na pag ginawa mo to, talagang hindi mo na mabitawan? So, ang daming opinion ng mga tao. Siguro, may kinalaman yan sa lust kasi talagang hindi mo. Siguro, greed, talagang hindi mo wala. And sabi ng iba, I think ang issue talaga dito, faith. Kasi wala kang faith. Ako naman, may sarili akong opinion, share ko lang. Ang tingin ko, itong sin that clings, ito yung ating favorite sin. Alam niyo ba yon? Favorite sin? Otherwise known as pet sin. Narinig niyo na ba yung term na yon? Pet sin. Kumbaga, ito yung kasalanan na dala-dala mo palagi, hindi mo maiwanan kasi favorite mo nga siya. Pet. Ito yung kasalanan na hindi naman ganun kalaking kasalanan yan. Okay lang yan. Cute nga eh. Alam niyo yun? Meron ba kang ganun kasalanan? Cute. Di ba? Ang liit lang. Kumakapit siya. Sunod ng sunod sa'yo. Di ba? Hanggang palaki ng palaki, hindi mo napapansin. Pero yun nga, kasi nga dahil tinolerate natin yung kasalanan na yun, okay lang yan, mabait naman na kasalanan yan, wala naman nasasaktan. So dahil doon, ang sabi dito, yun, pinabayaan na natin maging parte ng buhay natin. Ang problema, yun nga, pag inaral talaga natin, teka lang, pinabayaan ko ito maging part ng buhay ko, ang tanong, ano yung naging effect? Naging faithful pa ba ako sa Lord? Or naging dahilan na itong kasalanan na ito na para mag-compromise ako? O dahil sa kasalanan ito, ay na-realize ko, teka lang, ay hindi na pala siya dapat maging part ng aking buhay. So, ang reality is, all sin hinders our progress of faith. Walang kasalanan, sabi nga, na innocuous. Walang kasalanan na harmless. Lahat ng kasalanan, may kakayahan para masira ang ating paglakad sa Panginoon. So yun yung paalala sa ating lahat dito. Now, ito siguro yung sabi nga, down part ng message kasi ano ba yan? We're talking about sin. Lahat naman tayo may kasalanan. So what do we do about it? Yes, may mga taong great examples, pero sabi natin, hindi naman natin kayang gawin yung ginawa nila. Yes, may encouragement sa atin na gawin to, pero ang hirap eh. Di ba? Lalo na ngayon, sabi nga, dati yung tukso ay kailangan pang puntahan. Ngayon, pumupunta na sa'yo. Mahirap ang buhay ngayon, di ba? Yung dahil sa internet, di ba? Yung lahat ng temptation nandiyan na. Tapos nasa cellphone mo lang. Tapos yun nga, yung cellphone, hindi na natin mabitawan. So, yung bagay na sabi natin very much part of our life is also very much part of the temptation that we have. So, in a way, parang ganito yan. As long as may cellphone ka, matutukso ka. Ganun ang buhay ngayon, kung ating titignan. So, kung ganun kahirap maging Kristiyano, ang daming tukso, meron tayong pet sin, may mga sin tayo, nag-struggle tayo, ang tagal-tagal na, hindi pa natin mabitawan, ano yung hope natin? And I'll end with this. Who is somebody that we can look up to? At walang iba, sabi nga, kundi ang Panginoon. In verse 2, sabi doon, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Number 1, sabi dyan, si Jesus is ang example natin. Kung titingin tayo ng perfect example, kasi yung mga tao nga, may pagkakamali eh. Even yung mga taong hinahangaan natin, Sabi ko nga, sobrang devastating sa faith if you look up to someone really highly, and then na-realize mo, naroon siya ng ganong kalasing kasalanan, nakaka-disillusion eh. Pero sabi nga dito, in 1 Peter 2:21, "For you have been called for this purpose, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example so that you would follow in His steps." Yun po yung hamon sa atin. Let's look to Jesus, the perfect example of our faith, na maaring people can let us down. No, the people that we look up to, they have their own mistakes. They have their own failures and weaknesses. Pero sabi dito, if we look unto Jesus, no, He is the perfect example that we can have even in times of suffering. In the context of the race, Jesus is the one who has run the path before us, and He offers a preeminent example of how the race is to be run. Siya po yung ating pinakatinitignan. And hindi lang yun, ang sabi pa sa atin dito, Jesus is not only the perfect example of how to run this race of life, He is also the perfecter of our faith. Sabi nga, He is the founder and perfecter of our faith. Kaya nga in Philippians chapter 1 verse 6, Paul is confident to say, "For I am confident of this very thing, that He who began a good work among you will complete it by the day of Christ Jesus." Minsan nakaka-discourage when we look at people na parang titignan natin, grabe, mas matindi pa yung faith nito kaysa sa akin. Grabe, this is a person talagang hinangaan ko. Binili ko yung mga libro niya, alam yun, nakinig ako sa mga seminars sa podcast and everything. And then na-realize ko, ay, ganun lang palang ginawa niya. Meron pala siyang tinatagong other life. And it can be discouraging, no? Pero ang reminder nga sa atin is, don't focus on people because people will disappoint you. Focus on Jesus. He is not only the perfect example, He is able to start the faith na meron tayo ngayon, He is able to perfect it and finish it and to complete it. Yun daw po yung ating dapat na maging focus. Jesus is able to finish what He has begun in our life. But ang hamon sa atin ay panghawakan lang natin yon. As I end, I leave you with this challenge. We have been reminded today that sin clings. Kumakapit siya. It entangles us. It deceives us. It lulls us into complacency, thinking, okay naman to. Hindi naman siya malaking bagay. More importantly, it hinders our movement towards our God-given mission. As a Christian, if you believe you're a Christian, we all have our own race to finish. May kanya-kanya tayong dapat takbuhin. Yung iba sa atin, kakasimulaan nyo pa lang, you've just started your race. And the challenge is, in this sense, pace yourself. No? Mahaba tong labanan na to. You may be so much passionate today, but can you sustain that passion? Yun yung hamon. No? Na wag kang... Kasi there will be a time that you can be disillusioned pag nakita mo yung reality, pag naharap mo yung mga challenges. So the challenge is to be patient with yourself also. No? Na marami kang natututunan na dapat mong gawin, ang dami mo dapat gawin na as a disciple, and then hindi mo nakikita yung transformation na hinahanap mo. Yung faith ng iba parang wala ka pa. At ang challenge sa atin ay be patient with yourself. You will grow into the kind of person that the Lord wants you to become as long as you endure and as you continue to trust in the Lord. So, magpatuloy ka lang. At doon naman sa matagal na tumatakbo, no? Sabi nga, inugatan na sa pananampalataya. What is the challenge for us? No? The challenge for us, sabihin natin years nang tumatakbo, is finish strong. No? Don't let sin get in the way of receiving your final prize. There is a prize awaiting you because of the faith that has been given to you. And if ever you get discouraged or dragged down, remember the men and women of faith who have gone before us. Remember these ordinary people that the Lord used. Yung faith nila, yung example nila, tignan natin daw sila. They were commended, especially in those in Hebrews 11, in spite of their own weaknesses and flaws. The Lord challenges us to look to these people as examples and inspiration. And then finally, let us be encouraged of the example of Jesus. In the next few weeks, we will continue to remember Him, His life, especially suffering, and then eventually his death. The challenge is, in spite of the severe temptations and trials and hardships, Jesus remained faithful to his mission. He is our greatest and most perfect example. But not only that, he has promised that he that has begun this good work in us is faithful to complete it. Because he is the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising its shame, and is now seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Let's pray. Panginoon, dalangin ko po sa bawat isa as we continue to run this race that is before us. No matter how long we have been running, Lord, give us the ability, give us the endurance, Lord, to finish this race. Do not allow, Lord, sin to hinder us or to take us out of this race. Panginoon, tulungan niyo po kaming manatiling tapat. Tulungan niyo po kami, Panginoon, na magpatuloy, Panginoon, sa takbahuing ito. Kahit na po may mga discouragements, kahit po may mga challenges, kahit po mahirap, Lord, help us to continue and to persevere and trust, Lord, that you who began this good thing in our lives, that because of the faith that you started, Lord, magpapatuloy po ito. Pagpalaan niyo pong bawat isa, Lord. Ito po yung panalangin namin sa pangalan ni Jesus. Amen.